Hey everyone, in this video we're going to be going over Tesla's Robotaxi event, which is happening on October 10th, 2024, and if that's an existential threat to Uber's core business. Now before we get started, if you could smash the like button, it really helps the YouTube algorithm. Now let's get into it. On September 12th, 2023, a biography on Elon Musk came out by Walter Isaacson. In that book, he shared a concept photo of the Robotaxi, and it's Franz von Holzhausen who is designing the Robotaxi. He's the chief designer at Tesla. Now, from the photo, we can see it's obviously important that the car is a small car because it's going to be about mass producing it, making it as cheap as possible. It's the same platform Elon's talked about, the $25,000 car versus the Robotaxi are basically the same platform, except one is not going to have steering wheels or, pedals and whatnot, and one is meant in case FSD doesn't work out to have everything you need just to be a very cheap car for to be sold to the masses. So they've talked about Robotaxi for a long time. And we know that the FSD program at Tesla is the most important thing that Tesla is working on as far as Elon's concerned. He really has said in so many ways that if you don't believe in FSD, you might as well not even invest in Tesla. But he says he's going to solve it, and he has said that it's going to make Tesla the most valuable company in the world, with Optimus furthering that. So Tesla's holding an event on October 10th, 2024 to unveil their Tesla Robotaxi and other surprises he's mentioned on earnings calls. That is one of the reasons he pushed it back from 8/8 to 10/10, was he said he wanted to share other things that he's, obviously being cryptic because he doesn't want to let us know before the event, and that those other things were not ready yet. Now, one thing we know, Elon's called it a cyber cab or cyber something, I forgot what he said, but basically implying that it is going to have a cyber type of design similar to the Cybertruck, but obviously for a very small, tiny car. So that's going to be interesting to see this cyber, Robotaxi actually displayed, and hopefully a working version on the event. So we'll see. We obviously know that the network has to rely on software as well. So he has talked about the Tesla network. So the Robotaxi is going to operate on this thing called the Tesla network, which will be within the Tesla app, where you'll be able to summon a Tesla to you and it'll pick you up, similar to how Uber works. Elon has stated that this ride-sharing app that they're going to create will not only be cars that Tesla is operating themselves, where they'll take some of their cars out of the factory and put them in places that need additional vehicles to run for the Tesla network, but customers themselves that own Teslas today will be allowed to add their car to the Tesla network. So when you're not using your vehicle, it could go out and do drives if you want it to and make money for you. It would be obviously a revenue split between you and Tesla. We'll see whatever that percentage decides to be down the road. But basically, you're going to have the entire fleet of Teslas around the world be able to get activated onto this Tesla network when it goes live. And that's an extremely, extremely beneficial thing for Tesla to launch this platform with everyone's Tesla able to do drives and make money for them if this works. Now, a key thing is Uber doesn't own vehicles on its platform by design. The way the Uber app works, as you know, is people who have their own cars can sign up, and they're basically a contractor. They're going out and doing drives, and Uber's just facilitating the transaction between you and someone picking you up as a taxi driver for you. So they don't have the ability to put sensors on the fleet of Uber cars that are driving to collect data for them, because it's not their vehicles. It's everyday people driving with their Honda Civics, for example, just driving around with cars that don't have sensors that give data to Uber. Uber can collect data, obviously, from where cars are, etc., but they're not able to collect the data they need to collect to build out FSD for themselves. Now, the issue with that is when true self-driving is solved by Tesla or anyone else, if it's not Uber who solves it, it becomes an existential threat to their core business, because for many reasons, which we'll get into later, having the ability to pick people up without a driver will just be a much cheaper service, and it would make you have no reason to want to call Ubers with drivers when you can get a car without a driver for a cheaper price. And if you don't control that software, so Uber obviously wouldn't control FSD if it's operated by Tesla, then if Tesla wants to compete, which they have made it clear they want to, I mean, you can see in this photo, here's the app. I mean, it literally says summon. You can see it's, Uber-esque in a sense. You can change the temperature of the vehicle. You can pick which music you want playing without asking a human driver to play a certain song for you or to plug your phone in. It's really very intuitive. And bottom line is it would just destroy Uber's core business if they are actually able to bring this to market at scale across the globe. So Uber's answer to this right now is by partnering with other companies that are autonomous companies to hope that they can have partnerships and not be left out on this next wave of autonomous taxi driving. So in 2023, May of 2023, they announced a partnership with Waymo, which is under Google Alphabet company. Waymo is basically partnering with Uber to bring autonomous driving tech to the Uber platform. That was, coming on over a year ago. Recently, with the event, you're starting to see that, I think Uber is concerned that the Tesla network could go live at any time. They're not going to be, filled in by Tesla on when that happens. So that's kind of brought in the last month 2 more partnerships with autonomous companies and Uber to play. So we saw on August 22nd this year that Uber and Cruise are going to deploy autonomous vehicles on the Uber platform. That's another partnership they have after the Waymo one. And Cruise actually went down for a little while. I remember GM kind of downplaying them because they had issues. I don't know if it was accidents or whatnot. I could look back into it. But, I think Uber is kind of in a crisis mode to say we need to just beef up our partnerships, partner with as many autonomous companies as we can, and hope that one of them works out, because they know that if they miss this, it is a potential massive threat to their core business. Then, a week after that announcement, Wave and Uber partnered to accelerate the future of automated driving. So basically another partnership, coming all pretty quickly, knowing that this Tesla event's coming. And I never even heard of this autonomous company, Wave. I looked into them a little bit after, but basically Uber's going to make a strategic investment into the company besides just partnering with them on getting them to collaborate on enabling it on their platform for Uber, etc. But a thing to point out, I posted up here how, it's sensors to end-to-end to control. And when you go into the sensors portion, they talk camera, radar, LiDAR, and GPS. So what that basically tells me is they are relying on a heavy sensor suite like Waymo does, like Cruise does. So basically LiDAR, not a vision-only system. And GPS is basically, I'm taking that as HD maps. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they're relying on HD maps. So all of these companies they're partnering with, Waymo, Wave, Cruise, they're all doing the same thing. They're partnerships that involve autonomy through heavy sensor suites, including primarily LiDAR to see everything around them. Now, yes, they have cameras, but these heavy sensor suites, they have issues because you're basically have a crutch. You're using LiDAR to get very detailed maps, but it's extremely expensive. So it's hard to do this in scale. You're not going to sell cars with very high-end LiDAR systems like this to individuals. So you're not able, you can do it for a robotaxi network like Waymo currently does, but it's on a small scale. They're extremely expensive systems and cars. I think I've read once that it's $250,000 per Waymo car to make it versus, a Tesla that can be sold for, they've said the $25,000 model that will ideally, in Tesla's view, become a autonomous robotaxi. So that's obviously a massive difference in price. And then besides the heavy sensor suite with LiDAR, you also are relying on these HD maps for these systems. So they're basically getting downloadable, I guess, into their systems, maps of extreme detail of every road, how it looks, how the traffic moves on them, where every stop sign is, where every light is, where every grass blade and tree on the side of the road is. It's a high definition map of the entire city that is the robotaxi is operating in. Now that's great, but things change. So to build a true FSD system, a true self-driving system, you're basically building a true artificial intelligence, real-world AI, where the way human drives is we don't have to know, you could fly to Seattle, rent a car, and if you've never been to Seattle, you'll still know how to drive there because you just know the concept of driving. You use your eyes to see everything, and then you use your brain to make decisions, knowing the rules of the road, basically. So you don't need HD maps, but they obviously are a crutch and help companies really get their systems as perfect as can be when they don't have the data advantage that Tesla has to build a true real world AI to solve those issues without this extra help. So I'm not against using LiDAR or HD maps, but like I said, it's kind of a stepping stone before getting to true real world AI self driving. Now, it seems to me the only approach to achieve true real world self AI is collecting massive amounts of data through a huge fleet, and then you use that data to train this AI to drive. And Tesla can do this because they're not paying for these cars to go out and collect data for them. They're selling these cars to customers. So the customer is paying for the Tesla fleet by buying a car from Tesla. And then the customer who's not a employee of Tesla that has to get paid hourly is driving their car as they normally would. And every day when they're driving their car, they're collecting data for Tesla to use. Those sensors on that car by every single Tesla customer is collecting data for Tesla every single time that car leaves the driveway and takes any drive. Now, since autonomous companies like Waymo, Cruise, and others don't sell their cars, it's extremely expensive for them to just build these cars with high-end sensor suites like LiDAR and then deploy a fleet of vehicles to go out and collect data and then pay humans, employees, hourly to get in these cars and train these employees to use the systems and drive around all different types of roads and environments. It gets extremely expensive to do that, and that's why you just start to see this huge difference on data collection. So as an example, this is a little old, so September 2023, it said that Waymo had about 250 driverless cars in their fleet in San Francisco, and about 100 of them on the road at any given time. Whereas, Tesla's fleet right now is around 5 million vehicles, and it's all around the globe, and they're growing by about 500,000 cars a quarter, every 3 months. Now you take that fleet difference and you start to see what's the difference in miles. And we've seen that Waymo says that they have over 40 million miles of real world driving experience. That's enough to get to the moon and back 80 times. Whereas in 2023, so we're talking about May 2023, that's over a year ago for Tesla, they had passed 100 billion miles, which they said is enough to go 532 round trips to the sun and back. That is insane. I mean, it's such a difference, 100 billion miles, and not just miles in one area like San Francisco or something, but around the world in all different types of environments. That's the difference that Tesla has to collect the data it needs on all types of environments to build a true world-class AI on self-driving. I think that's the only way to do it without kind of cheating, just to get it done early in certain geo-fenced areas. So now we get into the event. Tesla's booking apparently the Warner Bros. Studios for this event, and it looks like they might even be doing some type of HD maps or something. They're getting collecting extensive data supposedly in the area around where this Warner Bros. Studio is. Also in a few other areas, maybe they're going to be doing test drives. Who knows? I'm not really sure. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough. But it's clear that Tesla has something they want to show off, something that would make them want to do this extensive data collection in all this area around where the event is taking place. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm curious to see if they're going to do demo drives. We'll find out soon enough, but the event is in the books and ready to go, it looks like. Now, Tesla said in its terms of service, this is pretty important for the competition with Uber, that when FSD is enabled on these cars, consumers, like if you go out and buy a Tesla, you're not going to be allowed to commercially operate FSD on any ride-hailing service other than the Tesla network. So Uber can't just come out, buy a bunch of Teslas and say, okay, we have self-driving on our platform and just use Teslas if Tesla achieves it. You can't commercially make money unless you do it on Tesla's network, is what they're saying. So they're here to basically say, we want this market and we want to win it, and we're not looking to let our self-driving operate on another network like Uber, which is really unfortunate for Uber and makes total sense for Tesla. Now, if Tesla achieves this, you got to think, how can Uber even compete? There's no human to pay, which obviously means a much lower cost to operate. You're not paying drivers. There's 100% of the fleet being electric vehicles that are going to charge through Tesla's own supercharging network, so a lower cost to, quote unquote, refuel. Tesla's going to be putting solar panels. I mean, they have them already on so many supercharger locations. So and battery storage as well, that these superchargers create this long-term cost advantage because now even the energy that's being provided to charge the cars is not just coming generally from the grid, but also being taken from the sun directly through the solar panels. So it just makes an even greater cost advantage for Tesla. Now, all these items we talk about, the cars, the chargers, the batteries, the solar panels, it's all not things that Tesla has to purchase and then use as a company, but they actually build them in-house. So even at the cost level, there's additional savings versus anyone else because they're actually manufacturing all of these things from, cars all the way to the solar panels. Now, customers already pay Tesla to buy Teslas. So when a customer buys a Tesla from them, they've already, they're already in the green. They have positive gross margins. They already made money on that sale. Now that they've made money on that sale, and then they tell you, do you want to add your car to the Robotaxi fleet and share revenue with Tesla? There's additional money they can make off of every single Tesla customer if they decide they want to run on their network. And it's at no cost to them other than operating the software, which is not a huge cost in comparison. So there's all of that. And then you take the fact that the experience itself is a superior experience to regular Uber drives because you have a Tesla picking you up to start. And that's like versus a Honda Civic. Who would you rather get in the back of a Tesla or a Honda? It's just obvious. Most people would prefer to hop into a Tesla. That's a better experience. Then you have no stranger. And that, a lot of times people are worried. It's kind of threatening to just get picked up by a random stranger. You don't know who they are. There's obviously tons of articles of horrible things that have happened around the world, especially not just in America, in other countries. So you have no threat in the sense of a random stranger. You have a nice car picking you up, and it's all at a lower cost because you're not paying the human driver plus of all these other savings around the energy and not putting gas, etc. So massive better experience at a lower cost. If that's launched successfully at scale, I mean, how can Uber ever compete against that? It just seems like not really possible. So what can Uber do? Well, clearly they've decided to make partnerships with other autonomous companies because they want to, get a foot in the door and try to win in this if they can. But in my opinion, the best thing they could do is try to secure a deal with Tesla to operate the Tesla network, regardless of how much it might favor Tesla, that deal. They really need to make a deal with Tesla, and Tesla might not be willing to do it. I actually don't think they would do it, but they need to figure out a way, strategically meet with top management, the CEO, everyone, and say, what can we offer Tesla that would be too good for them to say no to? Because the thing is, if the deal doesn't work, like if Tesla's FSD doesn't ever come to fruition and Robotaxi network never happens, well, this deal probably won't matter if it, even if it was so much favoring Tesla because the FSD never came to happen. But if Tesla's system works and it scales, not making the deal could kill Uber's core business. So do you really want to chance that? I mean, if I was running Uber right now, the first priority would be try to make a deal with Tesla to operate the Robotaxi network for them rather than let them do the Tesla network themselves. Explain why Uber can handle that operation better than Tesla can and how they can both benefit. Now, at the same time as doing that, I think Uber should also immediately expand into more verticals to strengthen their business and not be relying just on taxi driving. So, for example, Uber has obviously Uber Eats, and that works extremely well for them. And you still need a human, even with self-driving, to go into the restaurant, get food, bring it to your front door, etc. Now, obviously, until Optimus, but that's obviously a much further out mission than self-driving, I think. So I think human type of things, Uber needs to get into that business, get into other on-demand services that can easily plug into the Uber ecosystem and app. So an example of this would be there's an app called Zeal. It's a massage therapist app where a massage therapist comes to your home or wherever you are and basically will give you a massage at your location. Just like calling an Uber, you call a massage therapist to your house. Now, you could do that for countless things. Think massage therapists, think getting your hair cut at your house, think having someone come do a manicure or pedicure at your house, think acupuncture, think a handyman, have landscapers coming, having a housekeeper come clean your house. So many things. The name of the game is convenience. People want something and they want it as quick as possible. They want it same day and they want it easy. They want to just go on the app, say they want something, click a button, have that thing come right to them. They don't want to go out and get it. So the more things that Uber can add to the platform, and they can obviously, launch one by one different verticals and require things like if they want, massage therapists to have to submit their license or whatever, that they're a licensed therapist or whatnot, they can do whatever they want to make sure that, good service is going to be deployed. And also reviews take care of most of that as well. You're going to see what other people review and comment. There's so many things that they can do. But the point is, the more that they expand beyond the Uber taxi service that is their current core business, the better that they have a chance of surviving a threat like autonomy that could ruin that core business. So I think that they need to really dig their shoes into being a marketplace of services brought to you on demand, same day, as soon as possible. That's what I think they should do. I think they need to. Uber Eats has killed it for them. Everybody I know uses Uber Eats. Who doesn't like having food delivered to you easily? And that was a business where it's historically easy to call a restaurant and say, can I get a delivery? And yet Uber Eats still, that extra convenience made it such a better option than looking up different restaurants, etc. So think about that for everything else. How much better would it be to have your barber come to your house and give you a haircut whenever you want, clean up and then leave, rather than you have to go make an appointment at a barber shop, drive there, you're not, you maybe want to take a shower after. It's just convenience is the name of the game, and Uber needs to expand those verticals, if I were them, to de-risk things like autonomy for their core taxi service. So if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. I'm curious what you think. Will Uber navigate this threat of autonomous robotaxis from Tesla? Comment below. Are you invested in Uber? Are you invested in Tesla? What do you think of Tesla's robotaxi event coming up? Are you excited to see it? Definitely want to see what you guys all think. Thanks again for watching. Until next time.